Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hit the intro before we were gonna get nuts. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Film Junkee Live. How we doing out there? Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Of course, hey, we got a short week this week. Thank God that 4th of July is on a Friday. That's good stuff. Hit that like, thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Please view all the various things. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Got plenty to talk about when it comes to Superman and other DCU news stuff. And just letting you guys know, this is going to be the only Film Junkee Live this week. It's going to be the only Film Junkee Live because I'm going to be seeing Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to see Jurassic World Rebirth on Wednesday. You know, got a little group going right there. So I'm not going to have the Film Junkee Live on Wednesday or a DC Fanimated. So don't expect any streaming to be happening on Wednesday. Like I said, everything's all crazy this week with the holiday. And it's hot as hell, right, guys? Jeez. All right, so how are we doing out here? All right, let's see who's out there right now. Let's see, we got Shano. Okay, so this is also doing it. Okay, I gotta fix this thing. Why are they showing like again? We were talking about this on the vodka stream. Instead of having like the YouTube screen names, it has like anyways, it's whatever. Greetings. It's the last month. That's right. It's the last day of June right now. So that's interesting. I'm like, geez, this month went by really quick. Now we're going to be in the month of Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World Rebirth. That's right. Prepare yourselves, folks. It's going to get crazy. It's definitely going to get nuts. The good news is that we have only 2 weeks left until Superman comes out in theaters, and next month is going to be a big, great month full of old friends who are returning. Yeah, seriously, every week is just like, it's something, so it's going to be crazy. What's happening? Clone Avenger, 8 days until Superman. Man, that's right. I mean, I got an early access ticket. I don't know if you guys did, but yeah, I'm seeing it next Tuesday. Not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday, of course. Oh, yeah, I know. Welcome to Super Jurassic Fantastic Smurfs. Nobody cares about Smurfs. If anything, I know what you did last summer. That's going to make some money. That's going to make more money than Smurfs, for sure. For sure. Mr. Hard-Boiled Eric, honestly, the glasses thing doesn't need to be that complicated, lest we forget. Cavill tried it in New York City under a Man of Steel sign, and it worked. It's as simple as no one would think. This nerd is soups. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, and that is a point. But if Henry Cavill were to just walk into like a convention or walk into a public place where he was actually face-to-face with people and talking to people. See, Clark Kent has to still talk to people. You know, that's the thing. Still has to talk to people. So I think people would recognize Henry Cavill in glasses if he actually went into a more, personal space, more private space, and actually walk up and be like, hello, I'm Chet Thomas. I don't know. He could just say that and people would be like, you're fucking Henry Cavill. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that when it comes to the glasses stuff. Yo, what's happening, Mr. Fear Jason? Good to see you, bud. All right. And, yes, one of the reasons why I postponed or I pushed this to 6:30 because we had some people over. Obviously, Mama Film Junkie was here, Nephew Film Junkie and his girlfriend. So we had some dinner. So that's the reason why I started at 6:30. And, she, of course, is still here. She is here, and again, it doesn't say Mama Film Junkie right there. I don't know why that. I got to fix that. I got to get the screen names back when it comes to YouTube and everything. So hi, Mom. Hi again. Love you. Good to see ya. And of course, we have Ninja Gamer. Ninja Gamer. I'm just gonna start ignoring Ninja Gamer. Dude is just a troll. That's all. You push back, and then now he's pushing back, and now he wrote like, I don't know, 4 different messages or something like that, because I always have issues, and it's a running joke that I always have issues with pronouncing names correctly, so I don't take it that serious, but he constantly trolls about it. He's one of those like people that always wants to correct, wants to feel superior, while hiding behind his screen name. So Ninja Gamer, just F off, man. We don't want you here anymore. You know, it's a happy place. You obviously just want to, you always just say something at the beginning, and then you'll wait till the next show to say something again. And I don't know if you're just sitting there watching correctly while eating like your Hot Pockets and Doritos. I don't know what you're doing, but just don't even come back, dude. You're annoying. You're annoying. It's fine. And you are a douchebag, okay? Anyways, what's happening, Josh? Good to see you. Dave, what is up? What's happening? Arkham Knight 99, you're saying F1 was all right? Just all right? Okay, that's fine. It's all right, Ahoy, hoy, Mr. Jason McKenzie, great to see ya. We got RJ right here. Yo, had a blast today with a double feature at my local AMC. Go support movies, support theaters. What movies did you see? You're going to say you saw 2 movies and not say which ones you saw? Hank Hill, I sell propane and propane accessories. God damn it, Bobby. Oh. What's going on, Clone Avenger? Anyone see Corn Sweat get asked if this Superman could have Kevin Costner's Pa Kent to save them from that tornado? Corn Sweat maneuvered that question really well. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll bring that up. Of course. And then we got Sydney Sweeney's boobs, of course. That's always showing up in the, David Corn Sweat's, what, corn? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what's going on there, but relax there. Relax. So we got Yo, what's happening? Indiana Jake, boobies for life. Got some interesting names. That's what's happening. Hypno, what's going on? D-Man 7, good to see you. We got Stephanie T. Dave, look up Jay Towers' interview with, Oh, yeah, we're going to be going over some stuff. We're going to be going over some things, that's for damn sure. Yeah, who else we got? We got Ryan right here. What's happening? We got Y-Arc. James Gunn Superman needs to surpass Man of Steel at the box office. But at the same time, there's going to be people that are going to be like, oh, yeah, but what about inflation? And then, of course, they tack on more and everything. So, yeah, you know how it is. Film Age Studios. Saw Superman early, still under embargo till 7th. Ooh, look at that. We got somebody. Watch out. There we got Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later, Mr. Darren. Why are certain side of the fandom still using the release the Snyder Cut hashtag? Because that's what they built their whole persona on. Oh, yeah, there's some people that was their whole thing, so they don't want to ever let it go. That's the thing. And people will claim that on me, like, oh, yeah, you build up your whole thing. I'm like, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to get the Snyder Cut out. And I was very deeply invested in what Zack Snyder was doing. From when BVS was announced, I covered that thing like crazy. You can go back and see. But I was going to base my whole goddamn online persona around a hashtag and around that whole thing, and around a comic book universe. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to welcome more things because, hey, guess what? I love movies and I love superheroes. Crazy, right? It's a crazy thing. All right. What's happening, Jacob? Good to see you. Missed something? I don't know what it was. Damn, go a little easy. Are you talking about Ninja Gamer? I mean, the dude, he always starts off usually with like grilling me on something, and I'm like, why? And then he just was like losing his, he only usually sends one message. He sent like a bunch, probably because I might have struck a nerve a little bit there, I get tired sometimes of because it is the running joke. I mean, Scott and I joke about it all the time, and I mispronounce names all the time because it just doesn't stick in my brain. You can get a little self-conscious about it where it's like, shit, I always, forget all that. So yeah, you get a little of that. So there's a mixture of that as well as just like, all right, it's not that serious, dude. It's not that serious. So, but I love it. I love it though, because it's like, all right, just stay behind your screen name and whatever. So, who else we got here? We got Antonio Baker. What's happening? Good to see you, bud. All right. See, audio is always so low. Is it low? Is it low for everybody? Is my audio too low? What's happening? Let me know. I could turn it up a little bit here. If it's too low, let me know. Too low. It seems like it's always fine when I go back to it. Heard an interview got taken down 4 minutes after being uploaded because it contains spoilers. He's talking about Superman? That would suck. Huh. Interesting. So, let's see. Who else? Anybody else here? Who cares about? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was kind of saying. Like I said, it's is the audio too low? Okay. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. This thing's like up as much as possible here, guys. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Test. Okay. Okay, see, audio's fine with some other people, so it seems like it's okay. So, Kenneth, what's happening? Hope your Monday went well. Yeah, it's pretty well. Like I said, we had Mama Film Junkee and some other, and my nephew and his girlfriend show up. So, all right, audio's fine for most. Good. Superman is going to make money. I guess you say, RJ. People are saving money for the date. We'll see what happens. Like I said, the only thing it might do is underperform. It's not going to flop. I mean, I've had so many messages sent to me that, it's going to flop. And people in the chat have said it's going to flop. And I keep going, no, it's not going to flop. It's not going to flop. It could underperform, though. There's always a chance for it could have a strong opening box office and take a huge dive. But luckily, it has Smurfs, and I Know What You Did Last Summer reboots behind it. So it actually has a cushion before Fantastic Four comes out. So, that's a good thing, I guess you could say. And that's also guarantee you that the second week drop might not be as bad. If Fantastic Four was coming out the following week, there would be probably more. You could probably tack on more of a percentage of the drop weekend to weekend. But the fact that it doesn't, and we have those two movies, I just see Smurfs fucking flopping like no other. But because who cares about Smurfs anymore? And it doesn't matter. Rihanna, why does she even need to do? I don't know. Who knows? There's a whole thing about that. But just saying, I think it'll do just fine. So, but yeah, it's not gonna flop. But hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Spent some time with some friends on Saturday, and then just chilled here. Doing the things, editing and everything. So had a pretty decent Sunday. Watched some movies. I watched some old movies over the weekend. I watched The Rocketeer and Flight of the Navigator. That's right. I watched both of those. I don't know why. I was just on Hulu and I saw The Rocketeer. I haven't seen The Rocketeer in forever. So I watched The Rocketeer yesterday. And then the next movie that I decided to pick was Flight of the Navigator, which, Flight of the Navigator's, near and dear to my heart because I used to watch it a lot when I was a kid. And one of the reasons why that it was kind of like an interesting thing, because if you watch Flight of the Navigator, the main kid, the navigator, the main kid, his name is David, and he has a brother named Jeff. That is my name, and I have a brother named Jeff. So it was just kind of, funny. It was like, oh yeah, it's David and Jeff, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm surprised they have not remade that movie. I'm sure that's coming, though. I mean, it's a pretty good concept, pretty interesting concept, right? Flight of Navigator it's a really interesting concept when it comes to a time jump and aliens and whatever the hell. I mean, it is pretty an interesting concept. So I would not be surprised if they decide to do some kind of remake on that eventually. So, all right. Let's get on with the show, guys. Again, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Always great to see you. Smurfs will do well with the kids. Yeah, but I don't know if kids are even aware of Smurfs. I just don't know. I don't see any hype. I don't know. It's just because Smurfs is just so old. They're so old that I just don't know if it's actually going to do that. But we'll see. But I just don't see it. I see it very much flopping or, underperforming for sure. All right, let's start with this right here. Mark Hamill, you twisted son of a bee. Mark Hamill was talking about Luke Skywalker, of course. Obviously, he's done playing Luke Skywalker. He doesn't see himself returning at all when it comes to Luke Skywalker. Of course, he says that now, but I don't think they would do that unless they do some kind of Force Ghost thing, which, I would not be surprised they do. I mean, look what happened with Liam Neeson in the Obi-Wan Kenobi, in the Kenobi series. He did show back up and was a Force Ghost. Spoiler alert. But that did happen. But Mark Hamill was on, let's see, what was he on? He was on something right here. He was on a podcast. I'm just trying to see. It was the Bullseye podcast with Jesse Thorne. Okay, so, and he had a little idea when it came to Luke Skywalker's backstory. And I mean, obviously, the polarizing-ness of Last Jedi was pretty crazy. But imagine if they had this thought from Mark Hamill. Imagine if they went with this for Luke's backstory. I thought that could, let's see, he said Mark Hamill came up with a much darker headcanon backstory for Luke becoming a hermit in The Last Jedi. I thought that could have someone, let's see, let me start over. I thought, what could make someone give up on a devotion to what is basically a religious entity to give up being a Jedi? Well, the love of a woman. So he falls in love with a woman. He gives up being a Jedi. They have a child together. At some point, the child, as a toddler, picks up an unattended lightsaber, pushes the button, and he's killed. And he killed immediately, instantly, just killed. The wife is so full of grief, she kills herself. I'm not supposed to say that. Unalive. We're supposed to say unalive. So I'm already gonna get, demonetized by YouTube's algorithm. But hey. Wow. Mark Hamill, that is dark. That is absolutely dark. To do that, that's a little too much. Especially when the first time that Luke Skywalker held a lightsaber, he actually looked into it like that. We all know the shot. We all seen the shot of young Luke when he gets handed his father's lightsaber by Obi-Wan Kenobi. He looks into it like that. He could have easily hit that button and guess what? We wouldn't have had any more movies. Jeez. But at the same time, I'm like, I could have still went with that. Part of me goes, you know what? Yeah, it's dark and a little twisted, but at the same time, shit happens. I mean, how many times do you hear about accidents in the home when it comes to, someone's, kid getting a hold of a gun or something, or a swimming pool? You hear about those stories, those tragic stories. And yes, that would drive anybody, even a powerful Jedi, that would drive anybody just to kind of just seclude themselves and not want to talk to anybody and just kind of die on an island, I guess. So, pretty crazy. But, yeah, that's what he had to say right there. That is what he had to say right here. Ray Porter. That's right. Ray Porter, baby. You know who Ray Porter is. The voice. The voice that sends chills down your spine. Gives you goosebumps. Makes you clench your taint. Yes, I went there because that's how Ray Porter's voice sounded when he voiced Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And of course, we all love Ray. Ray's been on the Vodka stream numerous times. And I always love talking to him. I mean, we always would talk about music and other movies and what he's working on. It was always great. Well, Ray Porter has a new gig in the DC universe. That's right. But not exactly the DCU, of course. He's doing some, audiobook things for All-Star Superman. Ray Porter, who played Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League, will officially voice Jor-El in the new All-Star Superman audiobook. There you go. So congratulations to Ray for landing that gig. I love it. I love the fact that he's, still getting work, still working in the DC universe. Sadly, I did see that Ray kind of, he's not on Twitter anymore. I think it got a little too hectic. when it came to things. I mean, it sucks. That's how I used to communicate with him. I haven't talked to Ray in a long time, but I didn't realize that he actually he got rid of, he deactivated his Twitter, it looks like. That sucks, but but at the same time I get it because fandom will fandom. And yeah, that's just the way it is. Fandom will fandom, and things got a little rocky, things got a little crazy. I mean, I even had some conversations with him where he was like, he had to basically put out some messages saying like, hey, this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. Sadly, when you get thrown into a spotlight in a fandom, it's just like, holy crap, there's probably like a lot of burden, a lot of craziness, and a lot of attention that happens when you're on social media. But I know that was probably the right decision for Ray to deactivate Twitter. Twitter's insane. Twitter's crazy. Hopefully, I can talk to him again, get him on the Vodka stream again, and chill. And always a great conversation. Just a really good dude. Met him in person at Full Circle. Just a really good dude. So congratulations to Ray. Yeah, I didn't realize he left Twitter that long ago. I was like, you know what? I hadn't seen Ray post in a while. And when I saw this, I was going to tag Ray. And then his name didn't come up. And then I searched and I was like, oh, shit. He did leave Twitter. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. There were some weird things that were even happening, too, that I was... that when it came to certain things, I don't know. You know how some of the more crazier people in the Snyder fandom are. But anyways, that's besides the point. We got rumors when it comes to the Transformers franchise. Yes. So, what's happening with the Transformers franchise? Obviously, we had the Beast Wars or Beast Wars, right? What was the last Transformers that came out? What, 3 years ago? I don't know. I don't even remember when it came out. I didn't really enjoy it all that much, but then again, I haven't really enjoyed a Transformers flick until, when Michael Bay left after, Dark of the Moon was, but the first two Transformer movies were, the first one was really good. Second one was also good, with Michael Bay and the visual effects and the action and everything and the score. It was all gravy pants. And then, of course, like when it came to the Dark of the Moon, it was called Dark of the Moon. And then you had Age of Extinction, which was terrible. And then The Last Night, which was also terrible. And then, of course, they did a prequel with Bumblebee. That was like, okay, that's getting a little better. But I just was like, oh, this is E.T. with Transformers. And then it was like the Beast Wars one that came out. And I was like, okay, this is something different. It's different characters. Cool. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Obviously, the human story is always what suffers when it comes to all this. But I thought the final act was pretty good. And then, of course, the post-credit scene, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it. But yeah, the post-credit scene basically revealed that there is going to be a G.I. Joe crossover eventually. And then I was like, okay, so when is that happening? Did anybody was like, I think a lot of us were kind of going like, okay, why haven't they announced when this movie is going to start filming? Is it in pre-production? What's happening with this G.I. Joe Transformers crossover? But according to Puck News right here, and take it with a grain of salt, but apparently 5 Transformers projects are reportedly in the works. Josh Cooley helming a new live-action film, a crossover with G.I. Joe in the works, obviously. Michael Bay could return to direct. 2 other projects in early planning stages. And it sucks because Transformers 1, the animated feature that came out last year, was actually a pretty good animated flick. And it didn't make money. It didn't make the money that they wanted to make. And I thought that was actually a really decent Transformers movie because it was entirely on Cybertron. Okay? It wasn't on Earth. There was no human beings. It was entirely Transformers. It was entirely Transformers. And it worked. I was kind of wondering if it was going to work, but it really did work. It actually was a pretty damn good movie. I actually thought it was a good Transformers movie, Transformers 1. And was wondering if there was going to be a follow-up to that, but apparently not, if we're going to go by this list. And the only thing I'm looking at this right here, I'm like, okay, the crossover with G.I. Joe, Michael Bay could return to direct. I think we all know which one he should direct, right? He should direct the crossover? Yeah? I think we can all agree with that. If you're going to have Michael Bay back, have him do the crossover. It's right up his alley. Him handling G.I. Joes and Transformers? Yeah. If he's up for it, he should do that one. I'm just saying. We'll see, though. We'll see. And I tell you what, man. These Alien Earth posters, whoever is designing these posters they're doing such a good job because they keep on utilizing the globe of the Earth to obviously represent the alien and Earth. So they'll have it look like the egg. They'll have it look like everything. And then, of course, we have this new poster that they just showed right here where it looks like, you got the alien, that pops out of your chest. that it just looks like a piece of land on Earth. I mean, these posters have just been tits. They've been great. Just been absolutely great. Been loving these posters, man. I want like all of them. And of course, very intrigued. Very intrigued. What else we got? The Dark Knight. So, New York Times decided to poll 500 actors, directors, and industry pros. And they asked, what superhero movie is the best superhero movie? What's the best comic book movie of the 21st century? And naturally, The Dark Knight was voted the greatest comic book film of the 21st century by over 500 actors, directors, and industry pros. According to the New York Times, okay? Now, I saw this and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, it's right up there. But after a while, you kind of go, I don't know if it's the best. I used to think, oh yeah, Dark Knight, that's the best. Being a Batman fan, I was always like, oh yeah, Dark Knight's the best. Dark Knight's the best. But then I started kind of going, yeah, but sometimes, sometimes I feel like other movies are the best. Sometimes I feel like Logan's the best. Sometimes I feel like Man of Steel's the best, or BVS is the best. I don't know. There's times where I feel like, I don't know. What I'm feeling, it changes when it comes to comic book movies. Now, I get it, because it's Christopher Nolan. But then I even go, Jesus Christ. Sometimes I feel like Batman Begins is the superior movie. Like over time, you kind of go, Batman Begins, that's just really good right there. I don't know. It's full on a Batman movie. It is Batman front and center. When it comes to The Dark Knight, Batman isn't front and center. Joker is front and center. That's what drives that movie. Now, again, it's definitely one of the best. I just don't know if it's the best, because sometimes, especially with the 20th anniversary of Batman Begins, I just kind of go like, there's so many ways that Batman Begins is a superior movie to The Dark Knight. I start to see it more. I don't know about you guys, and I see more people even say that online. We're like, Batman Begins, well, let's face it, it's a little better. It's better. And I get it. But that's what I love about those two movies, because they feel different, even though they're the same director, but they feel different if you think about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what Christopher Nolan, being the auteur director that he is, he knows how to be like, okay, I can't just do the same thing, so I'm going to do something a little different right here when it comes to The Dark Knight. The first Batman, very Batman-centric, and he really grabbed that darkness with the Scarecrow and everything and the Narrows and showing, Gotham City like this. But then he's like, you know what? Well, this time I'm going to go a different direction. And then, of course, we're going to show the anarchist that is the Joker. And that worked. But but it's obviously the reason why people just look at that is because Heath Ledger's performance was just like no other. That's what it is. I think that's what a lot of it is. So when I see that, I'm like, okay, I get it. Totally get it. To me, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's but maybe it's one of. I don't know. There's a lot of aspects, I guess you could say about it. I don't know. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things, but just I don't know. In the past few years, Batman Begins just like Dark Knight was up here, but Batman Begins is starting to do this. Every time I watch Batman Begins, I'm like, God damn this fucking movie. It's the best origin story, in my opinion. Best origin story, CBM, when it comes to DC and Marvel. Best one. I don't know if it could ever be topped. Hopefully it can be, but it's the best origin story. It's, so. Yeah, there's just something about Batman Begins. It's like every time I watch it, I go, yeah, it's just, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Alien... this right here, man. Gracie. If you guys are following Gracie the Cosplay, wow, she does really good cosplay, by the way, and I'm sure you've seen some of her costumes, and my God, especially her Venom dress that she showed up at the premiere of of the last Venom movie wearing that. She went viral because it was just absolutely stunning. I mean, she puts in the work when it comes to her costumes, and she also makes cake, which, you know, hey, costumes and cake, whatever. And obviously she's a very beautiful woman. And she went above and beyond when it came to this cover right here, when it comes to a xenomorph and aliens. And, you know, this is why I think she's one of the best. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, cosplay, it's just like, wear something tight, stick your butt out. That's a lot of it. Sometimes you're scrolling through and it's just like, oh, they're wearing something tight, cleavage, stick your butt out. She goes above and beyond, because check out this this magazine cover. What the F? That is her fully in a xenomorph costume, doing homage to that Kim Kardashian cover where she, you know, has a glass of, you know, she has a bottle of champagne and then a glass on her butt, and then it just sprays right there. I mean, break the universe, xenomorph queen. I mean, come on. That is ridiculous. That is absolute. See if it's going to work today. Probably not. Nope, doesn't. So I'm going to clap for her. Yeah. Good job. Good job right there. That is, I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. So that's just absolutely crazy. Let's see. I think she had a behind the. Yeah. See, she even did like. There's like a whole little. If you guys are referencing, this is there it is. Okay. So yeah. All of a sudden it does it like that. What the hell? My thing's all messed up. Sorry, but that's what she was referencing right there when it came to this. Okay. And then she look at the costume. It's crazy. It fully detailed, and she took. I mean, that's insane. And then look at the little face huggers on the. I mean, come on. This is cosplay like extreme right here. Come on. Damn. That's just great. So good on her for doing that. My God. I saw that. I just was like, I started laughing, going, wow. Wow. Whoa. They look the same. You know another movie I watched over the weekend? I did watch The Day the Earth Blew Up, that Looney Tunes movie that got sold to Ketchup Entertainment. And then, you know, that whole thing, you know, like how Zazzy Pants and all the stuff were, you know, basically just going like, hey, you know, who cares about Looney Tunes? And they got rid of the library. They did this, that, and this. But I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. That new Looney Tunes movie. Of course, we're gonna get the Acme versus Wile E. Coyote. That's gonna be showing up next year somewhere, hopefully in theaters or whatever the hell. But yeah, you can actually watch The Day the Earth Blew Up. But this is kind of funny right here. I saw this tweet because none of it makes any fucking sense. None of it makes any fucking sense, guys. It doesn't make any sense. And Mr. Kevin Castillo right here just kind of goes like, the movie we sold to HBO Max, which was abandoned by HBO Max, and subsequently sold to Ketchup Entertainment, is now streaming on Max, the streaming service formerly known and soon to be known again as HBO Max. That's cool as hell, and it all makes perfect sense. Jesus. See, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. Yeah. It was supposed to be on HBO Max, an exclusive HBO Max movie, and they decided to abandon it. Then they sold it to Ketchup Entertainment. Ketchup Entertainment put it out there, all right, put it out in theaters, and then HBO Max was like, hey, we want to have it on our streaming service again. So now it's back on HBO Max, but not as an exclusive. Yeah, none of it makes sense, guys. None of it makes sense. But hey, what can you do? What can you do? All right, let's see what else we have here. What? We're waiting for that trailer. Or that teaser, I should say. Because there's not going to be a full trailer when it comes to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. We're supposed to be getting a teaser with Jurassic World Rebirth, which obviously is coming out this week. And I think a lot of us were kind of anxious to see what that teaser is. It's going to be probably 30 seconds, voiceover, some shots, some beautiful shots that are going to look gorgeous. But apparently there's been a poster that has been already put up in movie theaters. Again, we're like a year away from this movie. We're like basically, we're just a year and some, and some change. But this is the first official poster of the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. And it's not much, it's just a statue, of him. And then that's pretty much it. And then just some little bit of haze or smoke and some sparks and everything. So that's all it is, A film by Christopher Nolan, The Odyssey, shot entirely with IMAX film cameras, defy the gods. July 17th of 2026. So there you go. That's your first official poster. At first I thought, that can't be real, right? But then people took a picture of it. But then who knows? Sometimes movie theaters will they'll put up posters made by fans or concept artists. But cool. Love it. What else we got? Oh, man, we got plenty to talk about when it comes to that. Let's see. A lot of Superman stuff. We got a new image. From Predator Badlands, which, of course, I'm looking forward to. That's coming out in, October, November? I don't even remember when it's coming out, but there is a new image right here showing two different Predators. Of course, the one on the right is the Predator that we're going to be following in this movie. That's supposed to be a young Predator that's supposed to prove himself. And then, of course, the ties. If you guys watch Killer of Killers, it's going to have some ties to that. It's going to have ties to Prey. Obviously, it'll have ties to all the Predator movies, most of them at least. Maybe not the ones that they want to forget about, but cool shot right there from Empire Magazine. That's actually looking pretty good, because I know some people did not like the look of that Predator. Like, Jesus Christ, it's just like, what? Looks like full CG. It's just like, it's everything CGI and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that right there, I'm guessing that's CGI too, but it almost looks like, obviously it's a still shot, but man, that looks really good right there. It looks really good. And then, yes, guys, yes, tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it because, Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors, and I don't know how many times I've seen the original Running Man movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. Of course, there is the book. It's based off a book, and of course, when it comes to the 80s, let's face it, Total Recall, the Running Man, movies like that, they loosely based it off the book. The concept is there, but they changed things, of course, to make it exciting. But yes, there actually is a little teaser to the trailer. I don't have it on my feed right now, but there's a teaser to the trailer for The Running Man, of course, starring Glenn Powell, that is going to be showing up tomorrow. So I'm very curious to see what it looks like. Again, the fact that it's Edgar Wright, that's what gives me hope. Edgar Wright, in my opinion, has not made a bad movie. He's not made a bad movie. He has a signature way that he edits, that he shoots his movies, and how his dialogue is. So when I heard that he was actually going to be tackling The Running Man, I went, okay, it's going to be way more based on the book, naturally, than the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But still have that same vibe, still have something there. But I cannot wait for that. Really can't wait for that. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is it when it comes to the tweets. Man, so something happened where I had to fix that. I keep on saying I have to fix my little thing right here, but James Gunn has entered the chat. And that's right, James Gunn has entered the chat. All right, let's see what's happening over in the DC world right here. Pull up a couple things. Like I said, just pulling up the feeds off of some of the DC websites, the DC Twitter, right? That's out there. There's so many so many just like things, little things that they've been posting. Obviously, it's just very heavy, very, very heavy into the marketing and into the promoting and everything. Obviously, one of the big things when it came to what the news that happened on Friday, of course, we talked about it on the Vodka stream, but the fact that Matt Reeves has officially completed the Batman 2 script, and that's just such a beautiful image right there. It's so goddamn beautiful. The focus on the script, the words are blurred, but the bat is clear, and there's a light shining on it. You can see, Mattinson Tomlinson and Matt Reeves just sitting in the background with sunglasses on. Just such a, just so freaking, what a way to do that. I honestly did not think that they were gonna. I thought they were gonna wait till after Superman came out before they announced the Batman 2. I was like, yeah, they probably don't want to, they're promoting Superman like crazy. Why would they want to announce the Batman 2 script? I was like, that's probably gonna happen like a couple weeks after Superman comes out. Then they'll announce it. But the fact that they announced it then, I was like, all right, well that's good. But then again, maybe it gives a little bump. Also, it helps a little bump. Like, hey, Superman, Superman needs a little like a Batman bump, or something. But hey, that was good. So what else we got? Oh, we got the remember that outreach GoFundMe, where I saw some people that had a problem with this whole thing, because they hate James Gunn and this Superman so much, they were like, yeah, why would you want kids to see this movie? It's a James Gunn movie, or why this and why that? It's a Superman movie, and, again, disgruntled fucking man children. Most of them are men. But they had this right here, this outreach that was trying to raise about 15 grand, and it's called Reach. It's called Real Outreach. That's what it's called. They are currently almost at $10,000, so that's pretty good right there. Hopefully they get to their goal. Keep it going. They're trying to get to 15K, and so they're getting close. When it comes to their GoFundMe. I mean, I'm thinking if they even pass 10,000, that's probably going to hopefully be good enough. But yeah, kids who don't get to go see movies, they want to take them to go see Superman. They do that for all these big movies. It's just weird when you see people like pushing against that. It's like, God, all because you hate James Gunn and this Superman? It's like, wow. Whoa. Let's see. All right, so there's a lot of things. So another thing too, because we saw this. We saw this because in Cleveland they did show this building right here. So the Hall of Justice is a thing. It's been revealed. I mean, it's like, all right, James Gunn, don't spoil your movie right here. But apparently, yes, the Hall of Justice is very much a thing, and it's owned by Max Lord. So that's kind of interesting that it's owned by Max Lord. Something tells me a certain billionaire who dresses like a bat might have an issue with that, and if he wants any part of the Hall of Justice, something tells me that he's going to end up owning it sometime in this course of the DCU. But yes, it is confirmed. It is confirmed right here. James Gunn confirms the Hall of Justice appears in Superman, and it's owned by Maxwell Lord. You see the Hall of Justice, and you see that it's not even finished yet, and it's owned by Maxwell Lord. And he owns, of course, the Justice Gang. The Justice Gang, which, of course, Guy Gardner is trying to coin that name right there. So you see it under construction. Jeez, man, James Gunn ripping off Zack again. Is he ripping off Zack again? Well, jeez. Remember at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League when Martian Manhunter's flying off and you see Wayne Manor being turned into the Hall of Justice? My God. Just ripping off Zack once again. Zack Snyder, the blueprint. Come on. No. But, so expect to see an under construction Hall of Justice. But, yeah, you better believe that Bruce, Maxwell Lord ain't going to be, he ain't going to be holding that. He ain't going to be holding that. Crypto's a bad dog. He's a bad dog, but he's a good old boy, isn't he? But, hey, we got a new Superman clip right here. Uh-oh. So, Crypto sucks. I will say it's a little weird that he's addressing, the robots as Superman robots. What the, it's like, it's, I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but he just could have been like, guys, just say guys. But hey, Superman robots, that's the way he dresses the robots. And maybe that's what they understand. I don't know. But another clip right there of Superman. Obviously, we've seen numerous clips. We saw the Luthor, the Superman and Luthor clip where he's looking for crypto, and we talked about that on the Vodka stream where I said it was like, oh yeah, there was part of me I was like, he's a little too temper tantrumy, but at the same time I'm going, yeah, but this is a different Superman. This is a Superman that James Gunn's going for, which I totally respect. And I was like, okay, fine. And then of course we had discussions where I think it was Paul that was just like, why the dog? Why do you? And I'm like, yeah, the dog. The whole John Wick franchise is based on him avenging the dog. I mean, that's the thing. The dog, people just love dogs. And I brought up the whole thing. Like, I'm just saying, when you hear about a bus full of people that like crashes and falls off a bridge. Oh, everybody dies. Oh my God, that's truly heartbreaking. You hear that every one of those people had dogs. Oh man, there are people care for dogs more than human beings. Okay, they do, they really do. I'm just saying, they really do. You hear about dogs, oh man, you see red in your eyes when you're like, what? What did that person do to a dog? Human beings, not so much, which I guess is understandable, right? And then, of course, the Superman promotion. They're doing all kinds of things. Like I said, this is actually pretty cool. It's kind of like a Matrix-y, with the camera moving all around right here. I mean, it's pretty cool. Just a little bit of promotion. There's Nicholas Hoult rocking some bleach blonde hair. There's the whole cast. Of course, she's taking her selfie. There's Eddie right there. Oh, there she is, Miss Maria. And then, of course, yeah, the whole cast just on like a makeshift set as they're doing that whole thing. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of those videos for social media, and that's just the way you have to market nowadays. You have a big movie, that's how you're going to have to market, is doing like these little shorts. These little shorts. They even had a little promo on Tsunami. I didn't know Tsunami was still a thing. Did you guys see that? Tsunami is still a thing. I didn't know that. But they even had that
James Gunn's Superman
on Cartoon Network.
This is going well.
I think I'm doing a good job. Hell yeah. Eyes up here.
Superman swoops into theaters on July 11th.
July 11th. There we go. Oh, and then of course we had some big time footage on CBS Sunday Morning because they started interviewing James Gunn, and we have a familiar shot that has been tweaked, and it's kind of interesting. But we'll go through this. It's over 7 minutes. So we're not going to go through the whole thing, but there is, that infamous shot that we saw earlier that a lot of people were like, that looks a little wonky. And then of course James Gunn was like, it's not a finalized shot. It's not this. Of course he, changed his tone a little bit on that one. But again, that's what, sometimes James Gunn, you need to just stay offline because guess what? When it's online, it's on forever there, bud. You gotta relax. That better? It looks a little better.
Man of Steel comes to life in California.
Not a finished visual effect.
Not a finished visual effect. He had to make that. He had to make that be known. Not finished.
Inside an edit room in Burbank.
We just got some of the visual effects. This is actually not a finished visual effect shot.
Which is probably true. I mean,
James Gunn reviews a scene
and there's
from
that,
what Warner Brothers hopes
I like that.
is a summer blockbuster.
That's pretty cool right there.
Superman and its reported budget
Superman.
$25.
This guy.
It's the first feature from DC Studios, a division of Warner Brothers.
And clapping.
Instantly relatable to, I imagine, just about every American. He gave him a dog.
I mean, the dog is the whole reason, was the start of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Really?
1000%. I adopted a dog. His name is Ozu. And he didn't want to be touched. He had never known human beings. He chewed up all our furniture. He was, chasing the cat. This terrible dog had superpowers. I'd really be screwed.
Of course, they go through all the history of Superman and everything. So, and then they also talk to David Cornsweet in this one as well.
At the Arden Theater in Philadelphia.
The last play I did here was Our Town.
It's Cornsweet's hometown, where he still lives, and it's here at the Arden where he landed his first paid gig.
And this is the theater that I did my first professional play in when I was 9 years old.
Is that this?
Yeah, this is
All My Sons?
All My Sons by Arthur Miller. So these are my scenes with my lines highlighted.
He wanted to read from his original script.
You're finally up.
So we don't need to see this. This is just going in the David Cornsweat's background.
Nobody else on Earth. He is not human. He's an alien, and he has these powers that nobody else has. And at the same time, he wants desperately to be a part of humanity. So ultimately, the dramatic stakes of Superman as a character is that he is lonely and he doesn't want to be.
He also has a sense of humor. About those
What?
red shorts.
He's not supposed to have a
the
sense of
trunks,
humor.
The uniform can look very military. So he puts the red underwear on, A, so that everybody can see him. Against the blue sky, you can see the red trunks. B, so that everybody knows he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's not trying to look cool. I wear my trunks on the outside.
Jesus, tell that to the fucking fandom. You know, because god damn, do they take him seriously.
Side of my pants, like and cool he is when he's up in the sky fighting the bad guys. But once he touches down, he wants to be the one that people can laugh at or you know, make fun of because he can take it.
He can take it.
Superman has been saving the world for nearly... He first appeared in a comic.
Of course,
Because
more
he's creating his
backstory.
own narrative as his alter ego. People want to see that. They want to believe that you can create your own narrative in a way that is benevolent, even if you have all the power in the world. It's wrong of you to turn away from people who need your help.
Another shot, another new shot.
James Gunn wants people to see Superman fighting for truth, justice, and, well, you know the rest of it.
Around the world to take away from your Superman.
I think just culturally being able to place a little bit more importance on being a good human being.
Be kind to each other.
I think we're surrounded by a lot of meanness. I think Superman's surrounded by a lot of meanness in the movie, but he stands against that grain. In today's world, Superman's the edgier, more rebellious character because he's the one who's standing up for the values that most people are not.
Could mean Superman defines his career.
When you take a role that's going to be this visible and this iconic, even just visually iconic, and it's your face and the underwear, and you know, yeah, I wanted to be prepared for the possibility that it wouldn't lead to a bunch of other things, that this would be the thing.
There it is. So there you go right there. And yeah, super cringe. I see. Jose hates James Gunn and dogs. No, just kidding. Well, he does. James Gunn probably, but I don't know if I don't think he hates dogs. But yeah, so there you go. So basically, just kind of like that's the approach. You wanted something different, you got something different. That's what I keep on saying. Everybody was like, okay, you want something different. We got to do something different this time. That's what it is right here. That's what it is right here. That's what I keep on saying. It's something different, you know, but, you know, you want something different, you got it. But it's not what the different that you want. I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't. Honestly don't. I'm going, okay, this is different. This is, like I said, I'm hoping, again, it's going to be somewhat Superman the Animated Series vibe. And although I don't get that big time from Cornsweat's portrayal, maybe in certain aspects, but not when he's, like, you know, getting upset, because you don't really see that in Superman the Animated Series, especially with Tim Daly's voiceover. You don't exactly get that, but I do get the vibe of that for sure. So, and what else we got? We got, I guess Nicholas Hoult was on Today, so we got a shot. So there you go. There's the clip right there on Today. We got that one. We got other things too. I'm not showing every little thing. They showed toys right here too. With, I think Brandon Davis took these shots when they were interviewing them. So you had like some Superman toys that were being shown off. Oh yeah, this is on his Instagram right here.
The only one of these in the world right now.
Whoa.
And this is probably the highest detailed version you'll ever see of yourself as an action figure, David. And I got them to send it from Hong Kong so we could show it to you.
Good on Brandon Davis.
This is amazing.
Incredible.
Wow, look at this.
What is it like to see yourself in all of these figures in a form like this?
I mean, I don't really see myself in that. That's Superman. That's not me. It's really cool to see the suit in that miniature figure with so much detail, because it's such an amazing suit at scale to see it scaled down like that, but with still so much detail and accuracy. I mean,
It's beautiful.
It's really
the way
cool.
the cape's flowing as well. And little
Hair's
crypto.
Wow.
Wow, look at that. That's so cool. Wow.
And crypto, which is
Crypto.
based on your dog.
I know. It's so weird. I said to David the other day, we were in the Philippines, and I'm like, is it weird because you're on every bus here, and is it weird driving around and seeing your face on everything? And he was like, oh yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And I said because it's weird seeing my dog everywhere.
Well, we're gonna make sure that Sideshow and Hot Toys get one sent to you as soon as there's more than one in existence.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, please do that. Because, man, not even Zach got, like, those big, statues, like the Darkseid statue. Remember when he showed up on the Vodka stream to watch Scott unbox a statue a couple of years ago? Remember all that? And it's like Ray Porter, who actually voiced Darkseid, and Zach did not even get, it's like, hey, it would be nice if the director and the actors get these statues and everything. So, my God. Nexus Point News. So let's take a little break from Superman. Let's go to Lanterns. And guess what? Yeah, everybody's complaining about, oh my God, we got this old man, fucking Hal Jordan, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, guess what? We're going to actually get backstory. Yeah, we're going to see Hal Jordan younger. I don't know how much we're going to see him younger when it comes to him actually receiving the ring. Maybe. I would not be surprised if we have a scene. Every series always has the flashback episode. Am I right? It's always like 3 episodes in. You get to the 3rd episode or the 4th episode. What always happens? You always have to do a flashback, right? You have to do a flashback story that helps with the present part of the story. It's like a common trope when it comes to series nowadays, of course. But right here, according to Nexus News, Nexus exclusive right here, Hal Jordan's parents, Martin and Jessica Jordan, are being cast for the HBO Max series. What? Yeah, so we're actually going to get a young Hal. I'm sure we're going to hear about that as well. And then we're probably going to see a flashback. I don't know how they're going to handle it. Do they have a younger actor? Are they going to do the de-aging thing? I don't know. But it seems to me that we actually we might get a glimpse of Hal Jordan actually receiving that ring the first time. I'm hoping for that. I really am hoping for that. What else we got? Just a good old boy. We have some more crypto stuff. I think we've got enough of that. Let's see. Yeah, and then we got more stuff. They talk about the production designer wanted to make the Fortress of Solitude like the Silver Age Superman, of course. There are people that love that, and there are people that absolutely hate that. You got to love that, of course. And we got another clip right here, a Lois and Clark and Jimmy clip when it comes to Superman.
This guy just
flew
into Midtown and started attacking.
So a little exchange between Jimmy, Clark, and Lois right there. But yeah, apparently Jimmy has game. We all know that guy, right? We all know that guy. It's just for some reason they just have an aura about them that I have a friend like that. My friend Josh is like that. And, he just has an aura about him because it's like he'll just go from, all of a sudden it's like I won't see him in like a couple of months and then he'll have a new girlfriend. And I'm like, what happened to the last one, dude? What are we doing here? Yeah, he's like that guy. We all, I mean, most of us at least have somebody that we know that is like that. It's just like, geez, you go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you all know that. But yeah, so there's that. And all right, so and then of course when talking to Extra, Audrey Ayana. Of course, I'm probably saying her name wrong too, as I do. But you know who I'm talking about. We're talking about her, who of course has been fan cast to be James Gunn's Wonder Woman. And naturally, a lot of people do that thing, which I don't know why we still continue to do this thing, because every time I see people do this and they think they're being some kind of sleuth or something, some kind of investigative reporter, they're like, James Gunn just followed her. James Gunn just followed her. That means he's probably considering her for Wonder Woman. It's like, no. He said that I follow Audrey on Instagram, but everybody came out and thought he just followed her. That means she's Wonder Woman. She'd be a great Wonder Woman, by the way. But apparently he's followed her like a few years ago. So it's never accurate. You never know when someone's actually like started to follow. It's never accurate. Usually it's just probably because James Gunn's a name, so it gets put up top. If people are like, oh my God, he just followed her. But it's like, no, she was in that Belko experiment movie that he produced and that he co-wrote with his brother and his cousin or something like that. She was just in that movie, so that's, so he's followed her for a bit. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, I would not hate her being Wonder Woman. Everybody's like fan casting her as Wonder Woman. Everybody's just like, and I can't imagine why. I don't know why they would want to cast her as Wonder Woman. I mean, it's almost like, oh my God. Well, I could think of reasons, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe? Sure? No? Good? Wonder Woman right there? All right. Huh? I'm sorry. What? What happened? I can't remember. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. That's right. I was talking about her. So, back to it. She's, wow. Yeah. She's pretty, wow. Wow. Okay, let's see. What else we have? Like I said, there's so many different things. I'm not going to go over every little thing. Not going to go over every little thing because it's just, there's too much to go over. When it comes to little clips, little this, little that. We already saw most of the clips. Let's see. Of course, we had a 10-minute interview. We already know a little bit about that. We got another shot of Clark and Steve Lombard right there. I like this guy, Bet Benning or whatever the hell his name is. I like this guy. He's funny. He was in those funny like Geico commercials. I think it was Geico, and he would always be talking to the kids, and he was just so like serious and straight faced. It's just funny. So I like that guy. Yo, 54 months and counting. Thank you, sir. And hey, Rhea, good to see you. Good to see you. And Mr. Axel Droga, good to see you, buddy, as well. Let's see, what else we got? I just want to go over like every little thing here. I don't have to talk about every little thing. I'm just like combing through this stuff. Static. Well, here's James Gunn talking about Static Shock. Hear him like talk about Static Shock.
And did you have any more updates on Static Shock? That's another fan favorite of mine.
Yeah, no updates on Static Shock. That's there's a whole bunch of complexities behind that character right now. But so I don't have as good news for you on Static.
Which means they don't want to do it. So just say you don't want to. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not gonna do it. We're actually on DC Fanimated. We'll be talking about Static Shock pretty soon. We will be talking about Static Shock pretty soon. All right, I got to find that one thing. There's not really anything else. We don't need to go over everything, but let's see. There was thing because somebody brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, I got to talk about that. There's rights issue when it comes to. Oh, is that what it is? There is a rights issue? Okay, so here's this right here. So this made the rounds over the weekend. I didn't comment about it because I wasn't really on Twitter all that much, but I was just kind of going like, oh, wow, yeah, another controversy. Because anytime you start bringing up Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, Snyderverse, you start bringing it up right here. Oh, does that loud side love to get triggered? They get triggered. They get triggered like crazy. Which is like, God damn, guys, relax, just relax, I mean, take the W that we got in 2021. It wasn't enough because spoiled brats. But this right here also triggered, very much triggered, and it's yeah. Well, you judge for yourself.
Do you think your Superman could have saved Kevin Costner's Jonathan Kent in the
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to think, my character in Twisters didn't get a really final ending, but I'd like to think that when he gets dropped by the side of the road and mud splattered on him, Superman comes in and is just like, hey, buddy, it's okay. Like, you need to be a little nicer, but it'll be okay.
Good on David Cornsweet. Good on David Cornsweet, because obviously the tornado scene in Man of Steel is always a controversial topic when it comes to that movie. And and it always gets brought up. It gets recycled, just like the Batman killing and the snapping Azad's neck. It always gets recycled, always gets talked about. So the fact that she actually brought that up, I'm like, well, why did she do that? But yeah, people got like, oh my God, and you're going to bring that? It's like, yeah, well, it's always because it's a controversial topic. So yes, naturally, it's going to get brought up. So she asked him if Superman would have, it's a dumb question. Let's face it, it's a dumb question. And Corn Sweat, good on him from going, hey, well, I was in Twisters, so let me just divert the answer to that where I don't cause more controversy. That was good. He was quick, and good on him for diverting the conversation to that. So I appreciate David Cornsett for doing that right there. Because again, it's just, yeah, it's one of those controversial things that Zach decided to put in there. I didn't like it at first. I didn't. I've openly admitted that I thought that was dumb. When I watched Man of Steel at first, I hated that scene. I was like, why would he do that? Why would he not save him? Why would he not this? Why would he not that? But over time, as I've watched it now, 376 times, now I go, well, I appreciate it because I get it. Now I understand it. Some people just won't understand it. That's why they keep on bringing it up and everything. So, controversial. But hey. Oh yeah, and there's one, let me go through it. There's another thing too that was actually pretty important that I wanted to bring up when it came to Superman. Like I said, I'm not going to go over every little thing with these interviews because there's a lot of repeats. Where is it at? Here we go. Let's see. If I could find the actual video. I just retweeted like a post. Let's see. Oh yeah, well, we'll definitely get that. All right, we're not going to get that. All right, so I don't know exactly where the video is, but apparently. So is Batman going to get chonies? That is the question, and I think a lot of us were kind of going like, well, if Superman has the trunks, likely the DCU Batman is going to be rocking the undies on the outside, which, Superman, I guess it would make more sense than it would Batman. I was very much still hoping that, oh, please, James Gunn, if you were like hesitant on putting the trunks on the Superman suit, please do not put them on the Bat suit. And, well, I do not think that the DCU Batman is going to be rocking the chones on the outside of the uniform. James Gunn says Superman won't be the only DCU character who wears trunks. He adds that it's less likely for others to have them like Batman. It's much more a part of Superman's costume than it is Batman's, even though he's had trunks a lot in the comics. Please, 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 please don't put on the chones. Don't put those on Batman's costume. I mean, yes, they could work fine and it'd be different, fine, but don't put them on there. Don't put them on there. I don't think it's going to happen. Because, yes, it wouldn't make sense. Why would Batman put the chones on and then it would make Superman more distinct? And we know the reason why that he wants to do it. He wants to look ridiculous. He wants to be like, guys, I'm here to help. I don't take me too seriously, but I'll save you. I'll do this. I'll do that. Don't, but when it comes to Batman, Batman has to be taken a little bit more seriously than Superman, right? He's living he's in the shadows. He's hanging out there. He doesn't be rocking his fucking, bluey tighties, right there, right? So hopefully not. I'm not going to hate it if he doesn't, but I just hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't. So that's what that's all. I was just like, I saw that. I was like, oh, no chones. No chones. Please, no chones. Now let's talk about the Clark Kent glasses. So this is an interesting topic because, yes, it's always been a thing and everybody always makes fun of it. How do people not know that Clark Kent's not Superman and when he's hiding behind just a pair of glasses? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? And I've always said, being wearing glasses myself, yeah, I could see how people could get fooled by it 100% because, again, if you guys have only known me and my face to look like this with these glasses, as soon as I take them off, my eyes look weird to you, right? My eyes look weird. If you're so used to it, now it's like, what is happening? Where did Dave go? Almost. Not quite, though. I would say. And then, of course, what we were bringing up at the beginning of the show, when I was referring to a comment in the super chat, is the fact that, well, you know, Henry Cavill did walk around in Times Square. Nobody recognized him. He was wearing a Superman shirt and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just kind of going like, yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, nobody's really looking for that. They're in New York. It's so busy, and there's just noise, and there's people everywhere. You're not really looking. Maybe there's a couple of people that went, like, did a double take, and that's about it. But if you were to interact with Clark Kent and look at him face to face and talk to him, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to be like, wait a minute, this guy is Superman, right? And James Gunn has always had an issue with that. He's always had an issue with that, even though it's like, yeah, you got to suspend the disbelief and whatever. And with each version, you just suspend disbelief. There's not a lot of things that change. Usually it's just the hair gets styled differently, the glasses go on, the voice maybe changes a little bit, you know. I don't think Zach, when it came to Cavill, they really emphasized too much. Like, yeah, he parted his hair different, but he didn't change his voice. He didn't get all goofy. He was just, I mean, when I look at Cavill as Clark Kent, I'm going, how the fuck does nobody know that that's Superman? I'm like, there's no really hiding behind that, but you just got to suspend the disbelief. You really got to suspend the disbelief. So now we have James Gunn right here, who kind of has his solution. And it's not his solution, by the way. It is his solution for him and his Superman. And I don't know if it's actually going to be brought up in the movie, going to be interesting, but talking to comicbook.com and Chris Killian, this is kind of like how he was able to be like, okay, that could work.
I want to say I love was the hypno glasses. Oh my God.
Hypno glasses.
What a great explanation.
That's canon in the comics.
Is it? I didn't know that. I think you came up with
it's kind of been forgotten, but that's from the comics. And I was sitting with Tom King, the comic book writer, which everyone at comicbook.com probably knows. And I was like, the thing that I just don't really know how to reconcile in myself is the glasses, because the glasses have always bothered me. As a kid, they bothered me because I don't have that much suspension of disbelief to believe that, they're two different people. Even though I think out of all the actors that have played Superman, Corn Sweat looks the most different as Clark Kent to Superman, even more so than Chris Reeves. But he said, there's an answer for that in the comics. It's canon that they're hypno glasses, that they hypnotize people. So
I actually wish they were real because I would look a lot more attractive to people if they were. But I want to say.
Oh man, did I just say all that with... Sorry, I just muted my mic during that whole thing. Jeez. Should I say it all again? Oh no, I see it. I see it. Because I had a little sniffy thing, and then of course I muted my mic the entire time. Oh, man. Jeez. So basically what I was saying, guys, I gotta take it, I gotta do it again. Yeah, I know. I totally was like, because while that was happening, I was like, oh, I gotta mute my mic because I was had a little sniffles right there. So basically what I was saying that if you can't suspend disbelief, then you're going to have to take the hypno glasses in, okay? Because not even James Gunn could take it in, and he's like the big dork that's making this new movie, and he's going, okay, well, hey, guess what? This is canon. So if you have somebody who just can't buy the disguise, see, me, this is what I was saying, me, before, I don't care because I grew up with Clark Kent, Superman. I know the distinct differences. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me because I go that's Clark Kent, that is Superman. That's okay with me. I can suspend disbelief. Like I said, Cavill Superman didn't really do the voice change. He styled his hair a little bit different. That's about it. Dean Cain, same thing. Didn't really do that much. Styled the hair differently. Didn't really talk all that much differently. But it's just part of the character, so I just accept it. Yeah, it's dumb. So if you need to explain to somebody, of course, and say hypno glasses, they'll be like, well, that's ridiculous too. And I'm like, you know what else is ridiculous? He came from the planet Krypton. He wears a tight blue and red costume with a cape, with undies on the outside of his costume, and he has a super dog. That's also ridiculous. Okay. There we go. Jesus. Okay. But like I said, sometimes the glasses, if you know somebody with glasses like me, and you take them off, you're like, where did Dave go? Where did Dave go? Because you're like, oh, I'm not used to you without your glasses. How do I look? Do I look different? All right. That was a more shortened version. Oh, man. Yeah. Didn't hit the mute button again. Because like I said, I had a little sniffles thing, so while that was going, I was like, all right, mute that, and then I should have hit the button again, and I did not. But it was kind of fun to condense it down and recite it once more, so. This is the short. So in short, hypno glasses are dumb. In short, the whole concept is dumb if you overthink it. That's the way I was basically saying. But it would be kind of interesting is that incorporated in here because, yes, that would actually help because he uses the Spellbinder. And I think, isn't there a Spellbinder? There's some kind of character like that in Batman Beyond. But yeah, but in short, it's like if you really wanted to explain it, and it's like, okay, so if his glasses are special where people just, one of the things that I actually appreciated about the Flash TV show in the beginning was the fact that Barry was like, I don't know if the mask is going to fully disguise me, even though it's a mask. But he wasn't sure, having his, mouth exposed and, he wasn't quite sure if that was going to fool. So what he would do when he was around people, he would vibrate his face so it was blurred. And I thought that was a really cool concept when it came to the Flash. Like vibrate your face, and it's like really cool. Batman only comes out really at night, so no one's gonna really see him, and he stays within the shadows, so it helps. But then again, it's like somebody like Commissioner Gordon, who's like talking to him, might eventually just be like, I think you are, Lois, keep those shorts and glasses on. So there you go. So there's that part. Sorry for the little mishap of the mute. But like I said, it was fun because I got to redo it, but in a little shorter concept. But that's Superman. What issue is that? It's Superman 330. And I think it came out in the 1970 something. I don't know. I don't know the year on that. But that was revealed in Superman issue 330. But apparently it was forgotten. They just were like, it's just part of Clark Kent. It's just part of Clark Kent. Yes, I'm wearing a Snyder shirt. I love this. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite of the Snyder shirts that came out. My favorite. All right, let's move along. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to that. Like I said, we'll talk more about things, but for the most part, I think that's pretty much It's... I mean, there's other things too, but I'm just like, I don't think we need to see any more when it comes to that. All right. I love that Gunn actually thinks about all this crap and wants to make sense of it, though. Yeah, see, I appreciate that too. And that's the thing, especially James Gunn being the big dork that he is and loving all these characters and doing deep cuts. The fact that he can't even accept it, that's what's interesting. I'm like, wow, that's what's interesting. So if he takes the glasses off, will he be accused of a stolen identity? That is, see? And these are the questions, see, this is why Rhea is good too. These are the questions that she should be asking James Gunn, which I think he would be like, whoa, that's interesting. All right, let's talk about Jurassic World and those reviews. So normally I talk about the reviews on Wednesday show, but like I said, I'm not doing a Wednesday show because I'm actually going to be seeing Jurassic World Rebirth at 7 o'clock. So again, no Film Junkie Live on Thursday, or on Wednesday, but I will be showing up somewhere on Thursday, I believe. So, you'll get your 3-stream fill of me. That sounded weird, but okay. But yeah, so the reviews are out. Obviously, we were already seeing internet reactions when it came to Jurassic World Rebirth that were a little mixed and everything. But now the embargo has completely lifted. And, well, let's go to the Devil Fruit site and look at the reviews. 57% with 87 reviews. Not shocking. This is pretty much where I thought it would actually end up being. It just seems like that's... Yeah, it's like, what else can you actually really do with this franchise? I mean, luckily they got a great director, and that's what I'm looking forward to, is the visuals and the scares and the suspense and everything. So let's look at some of these reviews right here. All right, so we'll start off with The Sun UK. Jurassic World Rebirth is a rip-roaring, entertaining stomp back to the heart of the franchise. That's good. As it is, this might be the best sequel to a Jurassic film that Steven Spielberg didn't direct. It reminds us that there is an awe and wonder to dinosaurs that turns even the most hardened adult into a little kid. I don't know if you should be talking about hardened adults. Anyways, then we got some bad reviews right here. Jurassic World Rebirth is one of the most underwhelming installments of the Jurassic Park franchise yet, missing the spark of what makes these movies great. Jurassic World Rebirth should be called Jurassic World Rehash. It delivers plenty of action, but it borrows heavily from the plot of Jurassic World 3 with no real innovation or surprises regarding who lives, who dies, and what the dinosaurs do. That actually makes sense to me because I was getting that vibe too of like, wait, isn't this... Yeah, it seems like a little Lost World-esque, but it also seems Jurassic Park 3-esque too, because they're returning to the island and they find a different part of the island which they were holding different dinosaurs. Kind of similar to that. So actually, I could see even by just what I know, yeah, that makes sense. After a rough and clunky start introducing its characters, Rebirth turns goofy but fun once the dinosaurs arrive, much like most of the Jurassic sequels. Would I like it more at this point? Sure, but this will still deliver what has worked for the series. The kind of film that feels like it was made only because Universal wanted to add an extra $1 billion or so into their coffers, but didn't want to expend much creative effort along the way. There are only fleeting attempts at depth and meaning in Rebirth's characterizations. It is director Gareth Edwards' achievement that he keeps the excitement and fear factor cooking nonetheless. So that's why I think that it's going to be an enjoyable movie. It's just because Gareth Edwards knows how to keep that tension and he has great visuals. Doesn't go anywhere particularly unexpected, but the cliffhangers are choice. The dinosaurs may be dying again, but here with the admittedly overstuffed Jurassic World Rebirth, Edwards has breathed new life into the franchise through some clever mutations of his own while understanding how a craft Spielbergian wonder and adventure. The plot is straightforward. Get the samples and get out alive. But that doesn't stop the film from being entertaining. Rebirth is a confounding title for a downbeat entry that's mostly preoccupied by death and neglect. So like I said, it's just a mixed bag. It's just a mixed bag. Nothing you could do about it. I mean, it's dinosaurs. You want to go and watch dinosaurs? But hey, you got Scarlett Johansson this time, okay? You know, Scarlett Johansson, you get to watch her be a badass and shoot some things. She's wearing a tank top. I mean, I don't know how else to sell it. But, I mean, I was already, no matter what, I was going to watch it. But it's just the fact that they got Gareth Edwards, it was like, okay. But we'll see. What's going to be interesting, though, is how the general audience, does the general audience flock to the movie theater? That's what's going to be the case. ScarJo, baby. All right, let's talk about the box office. Let's see what happened over the box office this weekend. Like I said, we are now in the thick of summer blockbuster season. It seems like every week there's like something out there, especially a franchise movie. Definitely does, but I mean, thankfully we had an original movie come out this weekend, and you guys saw and heard me talk about it, F1, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It felt like a blockbuster movie. Hans Zimmer score, Jerry Bruckheimer produced, Brad Pitt racing. So it just worked. It was, you know, you had the tropes, but the tropes, of course, worked. You still kind of were like, I don't know how this is going to end. And then the technical aspect of the cars and everything. I was talking about it because I went to a little party over the weekend, and I was talking about it with people, and I was talking about it with people who watch F1 and were like, oh, this, and this. And I was like, yeah, go check it out. But yeah, the box office over the weekend, I still do not understand why Megan 2.0, why they decided to not hold off the release of that movie until September or October. It's beyond me. They just thought, oh yeah, we're going to put it right before June. Right before July, I should say. So yeah, F1, 57 million over the weekend domestically, and overall it made 146.3. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot. But it is a lot for an original movie. It is, but of course that budget was crazy expensive, over like $400 million apparently. So, but you know, it's Apple TV. Apple has the money. They'll be okay. It's still, you know, successful enough. And then, of course, How to Train Your Dragon still running pretty strong. This movie is pretty much making profit at this point because I think it was only $150 million budget, and now it sits at over 456. It'll most likely hit 500. So yeah, they're definitely gonna probably do the sequels and adapt those sequels that are part of the franchise. So expect that. And then Elio, of course, continues to disappoint as it drops 50%. This is, of course, Pixar's worst opening because they didn't know how to freaking market this. And again, just where, I don't know if it was like partly where it was placed, maybe not, I don't know. But it currently sits at 72 million worldwide. 72. And then, like I said, Megan 2.0. Why the hell did they? This is not a summer blockbuster movie. This is a September, this is a January, this is a September, October movie, okay? This is not a June movie. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but it didn't stand a fucking chance. But at the same time, I think the budget for this was $25-30 million. So it's not like it has to make a ton, but at the same time, if you're talking about $25-30 million, I don't know if it's going to have the legs, literally the legs, to start making a profit. But right now it sits at 17 worldwide. Just, I don't know, still just doesn't make sense. And then, of course, 28 years later, crossed $100 million, which is good. I think this movie cost $60 million, if I remember correctly, 60, maybe 70. So it still has a little bit of work to do, but luckily we are going to get that sequel that's already been shot and supposed to be coming out next year, which I'm very, I watched 28 weeks later over the weekend. I forgot how good that goddamn movie was. I forgot how good it was. I was like, there was things I didn't remember about 28 weeks later. Like I was like, oh yeah, they've got that complex where everybody is at, and you got, and then shit goes down. Jeremy Renner's a sniper, Rose Byrne is a doctor, but I didn't remember certain details, and I was like, holy shit, this movie's really good. That whole franchise is good. I mean, each one of them are really good in their own regard. They're different too. That's what's great. And Lilo and Stitch inches closer to that $1 billion mark. I don't know if it's going to make it. I really had my money banked on Lilo and Stitch being the first $1 billion movie, but I don't know. It might not make it now. It might not make it, so I don't know. We'll see. So that rounds off the box office right there. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what Jurassic World pulls this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how much F1 drops, because a lot of people were banking on that being that movie. It's the dad movie, which I think it'll have some legs, but there's just so much that's coming out in the next 4 weeks that it might struggle. It might struggle a little bit. No $1 billion movies this year so far. I know. I thought Lilo and Stitch was going to do it, but it's just things slow down because there's just so much shit. You know, and there's not like a big event like Barbenheimer or whatever the hell, or like a Deadpool and Wolverine. Those were just like big event films. There's really, I mean, I guess I don't know. I wouldn't consider Jurassic World, Superman, or Fantastic Four really an event film. I would say that Superman would be closer to an event film just because it's, hey, we're reintroducing Superman to modern day. You know, come check it out. Fantastic Four never been like super strong with the mainstream, although they've had versions in the past, so people know Fantastic Four. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting July. Very, very interesting. All right. Oh boy, here we go. Family. So when are we getting this Fast and Four? Whatever the Fast and Four? When are we getting this Fast and Furious fucking finale, this part 2 of Fast X, whatever the next one's supposed to be? We've been hearing so many different things. Oh yeah, it's going to bring the franchise back to the street level. Oh, it's going to do this. It's like, yeah, but you realize, hello, did we not just, okay, so Fast X, like, threw everything at the wall. It was absolutely crazy and ridiculous, and you brought all these characters back. Gal Gadot came back. Dwayne Johnson came back, and then you had this cliffhanger. You had Jason Momoa's character, the villain, escape, and then you had this dam that like burst, and you had Dom and his son about to be just totally just wiped out by the water rushing out of the dam, and you left the cliffhanger, and that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago that we got that, and we haven't heard anything really except for little details and rumors about the next one. And then all of a sudden now we have good old Vin Diesel right here that took the stage at Fuel Fest. And yes, we're not going to be getting the Fast and Furious sequel until 2027. That's right, a whole 4 years. You had to wait 4 years for that little cliffhanger to be resolved. Not sure exactly what the hell happened there. I can probably guess a little bit. It's like they put way too much money in these movies. The last one didn't make as much to make that profit back, and Vin Diesel's a douchebag. I just think that's part of it. That's probably part of it. But here's Vin Diesel right here on stage. Oh, if you want to bring back that word cringe, I mean, this is cringe right here. But yeah, he was up here, and here we go.
Just yesterday, I was with Universal Studios. Does anyone know Universal Studios?
Does anyone know Universal
Studios said to me, Vin, can we please have the finale of Fast and Furious, April 2027.
I'm sure it exactly happened like that.
I said under 3 conditions. The first is to bring the franchise back to LA.
Okay.
The second thing was to return to the car culture, to the street racing.
Okay, how are you going to do that with all the stuff that happened in Fast X?
This is good. You want to know what the third thing was? Does anybody want to know what the third thing was?
Just say it.
The third thing.
Oh, God. Drag it along. Drag it along, Vinny.
The third thing was...
Think about it.
Reuniting Dom and Brian O'Connor. That is what you're going to get in the finale. Love you.
Jesus Christ, Vin. Are they going to call it Fast XXL? Lay off the donuts and the Coronas there, bud. Jesus. Dude's gained like 20, 25 pounds. He looking a little fucking puffy right there. My God. Again, somebody told me, oh yeah, they're going to be shooting it this summer. I'm like, no, they're not. Dude's got to drop like 30 pounds because how are they going to explain the fact that Dom gained 30 pounds between the two parts? Holy shit. I mean, look at this guy. Look at how puffed up he got. What the fuck? This is somebody who's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to drink Corona and eat whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. Look at him. My God. Look at that shit. Look at that gut. Look at that everything.
Can we please have the finale of Fast and Furious, April 2027?
I love that. That's exactly what they said, right? They said, like, we want to have it. No. You were probably, being a fucking, I don't know what the hell. I'm over the franchise. I'm so over this fucking franchise. I've been over it, but I still go and watch them. Because, that's just what I do. I go watch movies. Ever since Paul Walker died, it should have just ended. Should have just ended right there because it has sucked since Paul Walker died, okay? Fate of the Furious was god-awful. Fast 9, I don't even really remember Fast 9. Fast 10, Jason Momoa. If it wasn't for Jason Momoa acting like a sadistical fucking crazy person, that movie would have sucked too. But I have not rewatched it. That's the thing. I just go and watch it, I review it, I talk about it, and then that's about it. And then I'm done. But my God, man. My God. He's going to regurgitate Brian O'Connell, and he's been living inside his belly. So that's another question, too. What does he mean by Dom and Brian are going to get reunited? Okay? Does that mean Dom's going to die and they're going to reunite in heaven? Or does that mean that they're going to do, have one of his brothers and they're going to do the face swap thing? Or are they just going to use one of Paul Walker's brothers who look similar to him? Both of them they look relatively like him. Or they're just going to have one of those guys just step in and people are just going to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to have the brother. I don't know. Again, this franchise should have fucking ended after 7. It's so just goddamn ridiculous. And this is who your lead guy is. This is how you're announcing things at Fuel Fest. Him just like out there just God knows how drunk he is right there too, by the way. I can't stand Vin Diesel. Can you guys tell that? Anyways, so look at that. We got, of course, somebody made a Vin Diesel screen name and went into the chat. Gotta love it. So there you go. There's the details. But another thing I don't understand too. Another thing I don't understand is like, okay, so you're gonna bring it back to the street. Are you just gonna? So are they gonna just resolve? Are they just gonna resolve what happened with the dam breaking and all the craziness? They're gonna resolve that, and then everything just goes back to L.A. And then they just do some good old street racing. And then they're just going to do that. See, my whole thing was, okay, why don't they just wrap up this craziness that they've done? The craziness that the Fast and Furious franchise, all that crazy that where it went, wrap all that up, okay? And then do a soft reboot, and if Vin Diesel still wants to do it and everything, just follow him and Letty and his son back to LA and have a small story where your budget doesn't exceed $300 million, where you can have like $100 and something million budget, keep it small, do a street level kind of thing. Do that after you wrap all this up. So this just sounds like nonsense to me, but I guess we'll find out in 2 years if it actually does happen. I expect delays. I would not be surprised if there's delays. Someone's got a pizza. Ew, pineapple and anchovies, Rhea? Ugh. You make me gag right now. My God. Ugh. Now, Ludacris and Tyrese will make a clone out of Brian. That's good. That's good right there, Jose. Because, yeah, they did fly into space. I mean, they did fly into space successfully, and they came back. So, I mean, I tell you what. All right, what do we got when it comes to... Okay, I think we're good. Oompa loompa doopity doo. All right, let's see what we got here when it comes to Twitter questions. All right, Darren. The end of Fast X is going to be Dom taking his son to Jurassic World. Yeah. I mean, could be. Just do a crossover, and then a Transformer is going to show up. Eric, it's interesting how the Today Show Luther scene instantly invokes the Superman Returns plot point of Lex and crew infiltrating the Fortress of Solitude. Add the BVS-like element of Superman fighting the ever-changing public opinion. Only wonders what other nods we'll see. It's a good point. See, that's an optimistic point right there, and I appreciate that. Kenny, Dave, this was a great feature of Superman. Yeah, I showed a little bit of that. Thank you, sir. Mr. Joshua G, will you be buying any of the Superman merchandise sold in theaters, Dave, when you see it? I'll try to get something. Definitely try to get something. Whatever I can get my hands on. Dave, super excited for Superman. Can't believe we're almost here from the release of this movie. Man, this is going to be good. Going into Superman and the DCU with an open mind. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping everybody would do. Mr. Nobody, how do you think they'll explain the hypnosis glasses? Is it Kryptonian tech that makes people see Superman as a goofy? I don't know. That's what's going to be weird. That's what's going to be weird. Boy, call it. Sir, please report in the nearest police station. Name Aaron Fisher. I think he needs to go to jail for us. Okay. No, I'm not going to do that. That dude's just miserable. That's all. He's miserable and has James Gunn derangement syndrome like a motherfucker. Probably one of the worst to have James Gunn derangement syndrome. Not one of the worst. Sadly, there's people who I was like acquaintance with that I had to unfollow that were actually way worse. And I'm just like, God damn, I've never seen people hate a man so much because of a superhero. Eric Corto. Let's be real, CB fans. Specifically, Superman already knew about the glasses thing. Non-readers have just always suspended disbelief, but we can also see that with people's inability to pay attention to anyone but their own needs, Clark can take the glasses off and still fool them. I remember Lois and Clark had a funny thing where Clark lost his memory and then needed he his glasses broke or something, and then Lois is like, oh, I think you keep an extra pair right here, and he took them off briefly, but she wasn't looking, and then he put them on right before she looked at his face. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that it's always been a thing, and people have always had to be creative about it. Devin Wooter, hello, Dave. What's your opinion? What's your favorite James Gunn Superman trailer? For me, it's the Superman teaser. That song was so good. I don't know. I like the second trailer. Do you think Lex Luthor's girlfriend will help Superman? That's like the original. When she kissed him, do you think Chris Pratt will be a perfect Batman? No. Chris Pratt and Batman should not be in the same sentence. And especially with perfect. He would not be a perfect Batman. He would not be a good Batman, I don't think, at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Taskmaster, I would not be surprised if she ends up, having a realization that she is with a evil piece of shit. Kenny again, hey Dave, I just watched Batman 89 on Blu-ray disc and the extended TV cut from 1982 of Superman the movie via Warner Archive. Hope they release someday the extended TV cuts of Superman 3 and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Lots of lost footage we have not seen yet. Yeah, that's usually what happens, right? Sad. Jaman, we only have a few days until 3 July movies. If hope we would survive the discourse, at least this is going to be an interesting week. Oh yeah, Fast and Furious should have ended with Fast 7. Yeah, a lot of people say that. Why the hell did Vin Diesel think it was a good idea to bring back Brian O'Connor for the final movie? Just let the man rests already. Fast 7 is the final chapter. There's no need to continue it. Abso-freaking absolutely. And then, of course, we have this right here. What is this? When you shock James Gunn with an unexpected slideshow. Oh, all right, let's see what this is all about.
James Gunn, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
I have a visual slideshow for you. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Why am I here from Detroit to interview you? Because that's me at 5 years old.
Wow.
Okay, which started it all.
Look at that.
Which led me to have this Fortress of Solitude office at home.
Oh, that's today?
That's my house.
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
All right, so there you go. Which led me to have a brief role playing myself in Batman v Superman.
Oh, my God.
Which led me to bringing my date, Sarah Douglas, to New York when I took this picture of you too.
I remember that.
You remember
moment.
that one?
Yeah,
That's Ursa.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I remember that. That was so cool meeting her. Yeah.
Which got me excited enough to, yes, and now to crypto on the other end of my office.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
And
Wow.
And if that isn't exciting enough, your brother's very nice.
Oh,
there you go.
No, he's an asshole. I liked it all except for that last one.
And when you were interviewed by Michael Rosenbaum in his podcast, he has a Lex Luthor signed poster from Gene Hackman.
That's right.
And I gave that to him from Gene.
Oh, really?
So there you go.
Oh, that's amazing.
We're full circle.
So you're full on Superman. Like, this is a big part of your life.
I anchor the news in Detroit. I do a radio show in Detroit, but it has allowed me to host the Caped Wonder Superman podcast and talk about the Christopher Reeve Superman films.
That's really awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, actually. Diehard Superman fan doing that. I like that. And then David Corns. Okay, I didn't see. This is one. These are ones that I did not cover during the.
David, there have been 12 astronauts that have been on the moon. You are, if you include Nicolas Cage in The Flash, you are the 12th live-action Superman.
Wow.
That said, what's that responsibility feel like?
I like that you said that because when people asked what it was like to get the part, to get the call from James, I said it felt like, I imagine it feels like for an astronaut to be told that they're going to be sent to the moon. So I'm really happy that you did that math and figured that out, because I hadn't. That's
He's going to steal that now for every interview.
Yeah, I'm going to take that forward.
Good today.
Well, it's I guess I'll say, I hope I'm not the last person who gets to play Superman. It's been an amazing opportunity to get to play such a character, and I hope, more people get to walk on the moon.
Yeah.
There's a sense of responsibility to James, who went out on the limb to start with this character for the new DCU, but also there's an amazing force kind of behind you of all these great actors who have already contributed so much to the character. So in a lot of ways, it feels more like I've got the wind at my back than anything else.
That's pretty cool. And then I don't know what that is. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Dude, that guy came prepared. This Jay Towers guy, I've seen him before, and obviously you've seen him in BVS. Get a little spot in there. Wow, he actually follows me. Holy shit. Well, Jay Towers, I did not know you followed me. I'm following you back. Wow. I was like, Jay Towers. I've seen him before. I've seen his stuff, but did not realize he was actually following me. So, got to get him on the vodka stream now, I think. I think that should be the next thing. Wow, I did not know he was following me. But no, that was really cool. I mean, one of the things, this is if I were ever to jump into doing like these interviews, these press junkets, which it's not really my thing to do that. I've tried it and I didn't really like it, but if I were ever to do that, I always want to be like, you always want to stand out. You don't want to just ask the same questions and, do this, same spiel, ask the same questions over and over again. You want to be memorable, and he definitely was memorable when it came to James Gunn, and probably for David Cornsweet for doing that math about the astronauts and everything. So that's pretty cool. But Jay Towers, let's talk. I'd actually love to talk to you. Let's talk Superman. I'm gonna have to hit him up now. I had no idea he was following me. Just kind of shows you right there. People like to follow the film junkie. It's not all nonsense I post on Twitter, right? Like to say, got a unique little way of talking about things myself, right? So that's pretty sweet. But anyways, I would have asked David if you saw. Yeah, I know. I wanted to see that too. I remember I said I wanted to see his actual reaction, David Cornsweet's reaction of his Superman being in Fortnite, when it comes to Star Wars elements, him being a diehard Star Wars fan. So, yeah, I would definitely ask that as well. All right, guys. There we go. That's the show today. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Sorry for the late start. Sorry for that muted mic incident, but that made for a memorable, funny incident, right? You just saw me just flailing and jumping all around without hearing anything, and then I had to kind of do a condensed version of that. That was funny. But hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, do all the things. Like I said, no Film Junkee Live on Wednesday, no DC Fanimated because of course I'm seeing Jurassic World. The Vodka stream won't be on Friday either. I'm going to be pushing that to Saturday. So we'll be doing some Jurassic World talk right there. I might be showing up somewhere else on Thursday, so look forward to that when maybe that gets posted. And if something does happen in the next couple of days, I'll just post a video about it. But like I said, no stream Wednesday, so I'll see you guys on most likely Saturday back live, or if you tune into this other live thing I might be doing, I'll see you guys then. Other than that, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your week, short holiday week, enjoy your 4th of July, enjoy Jurassic World Rebirth if you're seeing that, and I'll see you guys Saturday for a Saturday vodka stream. All right, guys, love ya. Talk to you later.